Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're tackling a really profound text titled The Architecture of Conscious Agency. Look, if you're tuning into this, you already know that navigating modern existence isn't exactly a passive activity, right? Today, we are unpacking the underlying frameworks that govern how we actually take control of our reality. We're going to explore how we move from a state of pure knee jerk reaction to becoming the deliberate architects of our own lives. It's an empowering, albeit kind of challenging paradigm. So let's just get right to the foundation of this whole architecture.
Life is not inherently orderly. It's a chaotic force. I want you to really feel the erratic, fast paced nature of that statement. We often walk around with this unspoken assumption, this hope really, that if we just leave things alone, life will somehow naturally organize itself into a neat, manageable, perfectly balanced schedule. But the source material completely shatters that illusion. The baseline state of existence, it isn't order, it is chaos. It's a wild, untamed, rapidly moving force that will absolutely run you over if you just stand still and wait for it to behave. It's exactly why an empty email inbox somehow magically fills itself while you sleep, or why the laundry literally never ends, because chaos is the default. So, if life is inherently a chaotic force that wants to spiral in every single direction, how do we tame it? How do you, as an individual, step into that storm and actually construct something solid and purposeful? Well, this is the fundamental paradox of personal responsibility that we have to solve today. To build our map out of this chaos, we're going to look at four main pillars from the text. First, the paradox of control. Second, the conscious observer. Third, proactive over reactive living. And finally, life as an interconnected system. Pillar number one, the paradox of control. Now, we usually think of control as something you just have, but the text frames it as a deeply counterintuitive dynamic. We essentially have to fight the natural current of the universe to carve out our own agency. Taking control actually requires a conscious, deliberate effort. Why? Because as we established, life doesn't automatically organize itself. You literally cannot accidentally stumble into a well-managed existence. The structure doesn't come from the outside world, it has to come from you actively stepping in. You have to be the one to provide the friction against the chaos. It's an ongoing, deliberate intervention. You must actively choose to impose order, minute by minute, day by day. Moving on to pillar number two, the conscious observer. The source text defines managing one's life through conscious intervention, which it describes as the necessary application of awareness and intentionality. Those two words right there, awareness and intentionality, they are your absolute most powerful tools. You are no longer just blindly participating in life. You are stepping back and applying profound awareness to it. Actually managing your life is never an accident. It's a highly intentional, deliberately chosen posture. So, what does a conscious observer actually do on a daily basis? Well, the text outlines three explicit duties. First up, identifying patterns. You have to watch the chaos and see the hidden rhythms. What triggers your stress, what times of day you're most productive, where your energy leaks. Like, say, that 45-minute social media doom scroll disguised as a quick break. We've all been there. Second, identifying goals. You absolutely must deliberately define where you're actually trying to go amid all this noise. And third, identifying obstacles. A conscious observer ruthlessly maps out their reality to spot exactly what's blocking their path. It's like you're sitting up in a watchtower surveying the landscape of your own life before you even make a move. Which brings us to pillar number three, proactive over reactive living. Because look, observing the chaos is essential for sure, but merely watching a storm isn't going to stop you from getting wet. You essentially have two choices here. You either let yourself be swept up in the tornado, driven entirely by external circumstances, or you get on the horse. You take the reins to direct life's course. That metaphor implies riding a powerful, potentially wild animal. You are stepping in as the master of your fate, using that conscious observation we just talked about to forcefully guide your direction of travel. The source text doesn't just casually suggest this. It completely underscores the critical importance of proactive life management. There's really no middle ground offered here at all. Think about it. If you aren't proactively managing your direction, you are reactively reacting to someone else's. Taking the reins is literally the absolute only way to escape a purely reactive, chaotic existence. And finally, pillar number four, life as an interconnected system. Okay, so we've talked about recognizing chaos, observing it, and proactively taking the reins. But what exactly are we managing? Well, the text points out that viewing life as something that, quote-unquote, has to be managed strictly implies a systems-based approach.
You aren't just managing a series of disconnected random events. No, you're stepping in as the systems engineer of your own existence. All that deliberate effort and proactive reining we discussed earlier, it has to be applied to a larger functioning machine. Think about the key aspects of your life, your work, your relationships, your health. They aren't separated into isolated little boxes. They are totally interconnected pieces of a single whole. This is what the systems-based approach looks like in action. If you try to tame the chaos in your work life while completely ignoring your health or your relationships, the entire system just becomes unbalanced. The chaos from those neglected areas will inevitably bleed over and totally sabotage the areas you thought you had under control. Ultimately, effective management absolutely requires a holistic perspective. You can't just be a conscious architect in only one room of your house. To truly construct the architecture of conscious agency, your intentionality has to span the entire interconnected system. You've got to observe, proactively direct, and manage the whole ecosystem of your life. So, we've unpacked the paradox, the need for observation, the power of proactive choice, and the reality of the interconnected system. The source text makes the mechanics of conscious agency completely clear. But, understanding the architecture is just the blueprint. You have to actually build it. So, I want to leave you with this provocative final question to reflect on as you step back into your day. Look at the interconnected system of your own life right now. Are you deliberately taking the reins, or is the chaos driving you?